What happens when a teenager becomes consumed by the twisted legacies of history's most notorious serial killers? Their twisted legacies had a profound effect on 18-year-old Sarah's psyche, ultimately leading her down to commit a gruesome crime. Today we will explore the disturbing case of Sarah M., a young girl who shocked the world by brutally murdering an innocent man. Nestled in the picturesque Bavarian region of Germany, Sarah M. seemed like an ordinary teenage girl. Her full identity is concealed due to Germany's privacy laws. Behind the picturesque scenery, Sarah harbored a dark obsession, an obsession that would lead her down a terrifying path. It is unclear when her fascination with serial killers and murder began, but it soon consumed her entire being. The teenager's bedroom walls were plastered with posters of notorious American serial killers Richard Ramirez and Ted Bundy, and she would regularly post pictures of them on social media. Her morbid fascination with murder was a constant topic of discussion in her social circle, and she herself declared her desire to become Germany's most famous serial killer. The red flags were obvious, yet no one took her seriously, not even her closest friends and family. Sarah M.'s struggles with mental health began to surface early on, as she struggled with truancy and was repeatedly admitted to the child and adolescent psychiatry ward. In a heartbreaking confession on YouTube, she revealed her struggles with severe body dysmorphia, depression, and self-hatred. Her problems continued to spiral out of control, resulting in her arrest for possession of illegal substances and even verbally abusing police officers. Sarah's deep-rooted problem with authority was evident, but what she really needed was help that never came. Her cries for assistance were ignored until it was too late, leaving her to face the dire consequences of her actions. March 2021 marked a turning point for Sarah M. She was finally diagnosed with borderline personality disorder during her admission to Bamberg Mental Hospital. However, her troubled social circle only added to her already unstable mental state. The man she was involved with had a history of serious criminal behavior. Though the exact reasons for their breakup are unclear, it is clear that it added to her already unstable mental state. But it was Sarah's obsession with serial killers that would ultimately take a terrifying turn. She began to plan her own killing spree, consumed by the same twisted impulses as the murderers she idolized. Sarah's fixation on becoming a serial killer was not just idle talk. In a WhatsApp message to a friend, she boasted about wanting to surpass the most notorious serial killers by committing one murder per day. She meticulously planned every detail, from selecting her targets to researching ways to cover up the evidence. She even adopted the moniker NBK, short for Natural Born Killer, and spent months studying the methods and motives of famous killers. But despite her disturbing behavior, her friends failed to report her to the authorities. Her fascination with murder was not just morbid curiosity, but the dangerous desire to become a killer herself. On April 28, 2021, Sarah's plan to become a killer was set in motion as she created a fake dating profile under the name Domina Cherry on various dating platforms. It has been reported that Sarah had around 130 pending messages from men, and she had been exchanging messages with several of them. Among the many men who responded to her profiles was 39-year-old Zayed E., an Iraqi security guard who had immigrated to Nuremberg, Germany. Sarah was bodacious in her messages, and Zayed agreed to meet her on the very first day that they made contact. Unlike that of Zayed's, Sarah's plan went far beyond a simple date. She had been researching the most effective ways to bleed someone out, what happens when someone is stabbed in the neck, and how long it takes for them to stop breathing. She didn't just plan to end lives, she revealed in details of how she would do it. Her premeditation of murder was chilling, as she excitedly recorded messages to a friend confessing that she had found her first victim. On the night of the murder, Zayed picked up Sarah in his Ford Fiesta, completely unaware of the danger that awaited him. Sarah, who had been exchanging messages with Zayed, proposed spending the night together in a scheduled place. But what Zayed didn't know was that he had just become the next victim of a malevolent predator. He agreed to the plan and began driving towards a dark bike path under Sarah's direction. What started as innocent messages quickly turned dark, as Sarah's sinister plan was about to be put into action. Once they arrived at the scheduled location, Sarah wasted no time. There, she quickly slit the right carotid artery of the 39-year-old Zayed, and before he knew it, he was fighting for his life. As he felt his strength leaving him, Zayed pulled his car over to the main road in an attempt to escape from his attacker. Though he managed to wrestle the knife away from Sarah, the damage had already been done. The blood loss had taken its toll, leaving Zayed weak and vulnerable. Despite his excruciating pain, he was determined to find help. He stumbled out of his car and made his way to a nearby station. Though he was unable to draw attention to his plight, his injuries were too severe, and he soon fell into a coma at the hospital. His sister, Fatima, and his father were praying for his survival, hoping that he would pull through the coma to tell his story. His sister, Fatima, shared with the news reporters that Zayed's dream was to start a family, which was why he decided to meet Sarah. However, Zayed tragically passed away 19 days after the attack. Sarah was captured by the police, covered in blood, in the nearby town of Ebermanstalt, just half an hour after she fled the crime scene. During her apprehension, she told the police with a grin on her face that she was a murderer. Sarah's case was not just a simple murder case, but it was also a case of a disturbed mind. When Sarah M. was apprehended for her heinous crime, she was subjected to psychiatric evaluation, where she had to answer a series of questions. Despite her troubled past, Sarah's lack of remorse for her heinous crime was unsettling. During her psychiatric evaluation, Sarah shocked her evaluators by expressing annoyance that she was missing out on the best time of her life because of a, quote, stupid mistake, instead of showing any remorse for taking Zayed's life. The callous and self-centered attitude only added to the severity of her actions, and further confirmed the lack of empathy and remorse that Sarah had shown throughout the entire ordeal. As evaluators dug deeper into Sarah's past, they discovered a history marked by bullying, abuse, and drugs, which shed light on her troubled state of mind. In a letter to her close friend, Tim B., Sarah revealed the truth about the incident that led to her arrest. Tim had initially thought that the man she attacked had touched her inappropriately, but Sarah confessed that she planned the whole thing. Tim's testimony shed more light on the disturbing details of her plan. In voice notes, Sarah had outlined her strategy, meticulously describing how she would lure Zayed into a trap by promising him a surprise. Once Zayed closed his eyes, Sarah told Tim that she would attack him with a sharp implement that was about 12 centimeters long, then mimic the sound of stabbing in chilling detail. However, her friend dismissed these messages as a joke, failing to comprehend the severity of the situation. Her friend's dismissal of her confession also highlights the importance of taking any signs of disturbing behavior seriously and reporting them to the appropriate authorities. Sarah's obsession with serial killers and violent tendencies were not limited to her murder of Zayed E. In fact, she revealed in one of her letters that she idolized infamous American serial killers Richard Ramirez and Ted Bundy. Her fascination with these killers was so strong that she repeatedly asked her mother to send her pictures of Ramirez. Sarah also wrote about a past experience with her former partner, where she expressed her desire to take matters into her own hands and ensure that her ex-boyfriend was buried 6 feet under. This stemmed from an alleged intimacy violation incident involving the 18-year-old. In her first detailed statement after the murder of her dating partner, Zayed E., she declared that she was disappointed she was only being charged with attempted murder, as she had a lot more planned. During the trial, the senior public prosecutor, Michael Hoffman, highlighted the two hallmarks of murder that made Sarah's guilt so severe. He stressed that her complete callousness towards the victim, as well as her research on where to stab a person in the neck and how long it would take to die, indicated the severity of her crime. The defense counsel added that Sarah's act and execution were clumsy compared to the American serial killers she idolized. He emphasized that neither Ramirez nor Bundy had previously announced their actions in the media, and neither was arrested promptly. The sentencing of Sarah M. for the murder of her dating partner Zayed E. was met with a disturbing display of defiance. As the trial began, all eyes were on the red-headed Sarah as she walked into the district court of Bamberg, with her hands tied to her belt and anklets around her feet. But her striking appearance was not the only thing that caught people's attention. She had put on makeup and new clothes, seemingly trying to look good for the cameras. Later, during the Bamberg murder trial, Sarah attempted to feign an emotional outburst with tears, but prosecutor Hoffman later exposed her attempt as she tried to escape from her handcuffs like Houdini. She was immediately surrounded by 4 officers who restrained her hands. As the judge handed down a 12-year sentence in a socio-therapeutic facility, Sarah responded by holding up her left palm, on which she had drawn a pentagram, a disturbing reference to the infamous American serial killer Richard Ramirez, who had killed at least 13 people in California during the mid-1980s. The judge's decision was based on the fact that Sarah had shown, quote, a complete lack of empathy for her victim. The judge also noted that it is extremely rare for a perpetrator to kill someone out of lust for murder. During a visit in the youth welfare office, Sarah M. arrived with a self-painted Ramirez tattoo on her neck, referencing for the second time to Richard Ramirez, and a black teardrop beneath her eye. Later, during another visit, the tattoo had been removed, and she appeared, quote, perfectly made up. Sarah seemed to have adapted to her new environment with relative ease. She frequently purchased rolls of tape to hang pictures of her favorite serial killers, and she also buys red hair dye. Despite the severity of her crime, she maintains a polite and modest demeanor towards the security guards and has even formed friendships with some of the other inmates, particularly those who have proven to be challenging cases. Sarah's life behind bars has settled into a routine, sleeping soundly, enjoying vegetarian meals, working out in her cell, and watching TV in the evenings. During a recent interview with an officer, she appeared to have accepted her situation and was at ease with her newfound daily life in prison. However, the security guards note that they are wary of her behavior, and they tend to err on the side of caution. Will she ever express any remorse for the heinous crimes she committed? Only time will tell. As for now, she is adapting to life behind bars, but it remains to be seen what the future holds for this dangerous criminal. Sarah M.'s obsession with serial killers led to a tragic loss of an innocent life and the destruction of a family. What do you think about Sarah's case? Do you believe in the possibility of redemption and rehabilitation for individuals like her? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more informative and thought-provoking content. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.